Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Akio, and this is Art Life Saturdays. And this episode is why my art is protest, praise, and promise. I do a lot of artwork, various art pieces. As you can see back here on left of me, this is the Charm City Kings diamond logos that I did for the film Charm City Kings. It was like rap gifts. They had contacted me for the HBO Max premiere to uh, gift 250 people that collected these wooden boxes. Um, while it's a promise is right above the logo. So right between these two boxes here, this piece right here above this piece is a promise that I made to the kids that I did a workshop with uh, for Bopa last year, and it was at a recreational center in Baltimore, and it was a group of kids, and they we had two different Air Force Ones that they painted over that they actually add safety pins, and they was inspired by my story. So I told them that I promised that if whenever I was to get an exhibition, that I will actually have that work in an exhibition at Artscape. And the piece below it, right here, this is a piece that I did. Just well, not me, but the kids in Cleveland, Ohio, and Juvie. This is a piece that they did where they wrote a lot of names onto the Air Force One, and I had that piece. I made a promise to them too that I said, "Yo, when I have an exhibition, I make sure that I exhibit your art." And I didn't know it was going to come this soon, but it did, and I finally was able to. I had the opportunity to display their art, and these two pieces were like facing each other. On one left side, the recreational center that I did this that we did this collectively. They did it actually. That was on to the left of the exhibition, and on to the right side of the booth was that piece right there. And it was across from each other, facing each other, because I wanted people to know that, you know, getting to the kids early, of being able to have freedom of expression, be able to give them opportunities to express themselves through art, whatever medium they decide to do. It's very important. It's very crucial. And a lot of my artwork, it's an ode or it's a promise to preserving culture, preserving a story. And just today, I was busy all morning. I was speaking to, um, I was connected with the Visionary Art Museum as I'm working on, this piece that I can't disclose the information just yet. And then from there, I went to Yelé's cohort class, and I spoke to the class, hung out with the class. We took pictures, but I was able to share with them my journey and my why, and similar to what I'm sharing with you now, as far as making a promise to yourself or creating a why, and that why has to outlast, because it has to outlast. It has to be a deeper meaning, because when an individual that you may consider your mother being a why, make sure that why carries you even if they're not necessarily here anymore in the physical. So it was so many things that I've shared with them, and I started to document the journey, but I got there a little later than expected, and I wanted it to be more authentic, but I was able to stay with them for a while. They had a lot of questions and they were inspired, so I'm grateful for that. And which leads me to bring it was like uh, the promise, the praise, and also the protest. And I was sharing with them because they were all, inspired and inspiring seamstresses. And one of them that was in the group, they've already sold some of the stuff. But I was happy to see her because as she's taking the class, it's like, we're life learners. You can always learn. So I had shared with them, I was like, hey, does anybody know who Anna Murray Douglas is? And nobody raised their hand. And I said, it's okay because I just found out who she was last year. And I went on ahead and told them about Anna Mary Douglas, how, you know, she had met Frederick Bailey before he was Frederick Douglass. She said, no man of mine can be a slave. So she allowed him to, well, she basically wanted to help him out and allow him to be a free man. So she had sold him a sailor outfit, gave him some sailor's clothes. She sold her feather bed, which was expensive back in the day, and she was able to get a New York train ticket. So he was able to be free, and then they married each other in New York. And that's how he had got the name Frederick Douglass, which was, he was originally known as Frederick Bailey. But he if it wasn't for Anna Murray, and she did a lot of things, y'all. She did a lot of things, Anna Murray Douglas, and that's my protest when I'm actually creating art pieces. And as a matter of fact, that's the piece right there. I'll show you to you. That's that right there. But as I'm creating these art pieces, I like to actually create a protest in my own way of bringing awareness to a story of how Baltimore State Air Force One, or how Michael K. Williams was more than just a character from The Wire. He was a friend, he was a supporter, he was a mentor, and how he had a genuine heart. And Javante Tank Davis, being who he is and being a person that was giving back to the community, bought a whole block for the community. And, it just so happened that his journey ties into why I wanted to create art, because like I said before, on the night that the incident happened, I was, that's what I chose to use as healing, to create pieces that showed him flipping in the air, because for me that stood for victory. So when people see the him flipping in the air, they can tie it into you being free. And that also is why I bring it to the freedom camo. The freedom camo is anything with the hunting camo, and I always like to highlight her in most of my pieces. It just so happened that I've always been doing that. I want to say in the beginning years, in the early 2000s, and now I'm able to allow people to see what I've been wanting to see for the what I've been seeing in my mind for the longest time, which is Harriet wearing hunting camo, and bringing those old designs back, like the Baltimore Woobird, or Harriet, interacting with Elmer Fudd, who in the cartoon he was a hunter, and just really being able to just give it a different meaning, and giving it allowing to live in a different space in a new universe, so that way it can attract those who probably wouldn't even necessarily thought of these figures, or these stories in this way. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. I'm about to help my sis with these drinks that she's assigned me to do, to help her as she's about to do farmers market, and I have a few things to do tonight. So that's why I wanted to send these things out to you guys, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this in a timely manner. But thank you for tapping in. This is Art Life Saturdays, and let me know what you think. Leave a comment of anything that I didn't necessarily share, and continue to be great. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.